All right, let's cross live now to former president of the UN General Assembly and former Serbian Foreign Minister Vuk Jeremić, who joins us from St. Petersburg. Good to have you on with us. At the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, where you are now, Putin said Russia may consider sending its weapons to countries that can use them against Ukraine's backers. What do you make of that statement from the Russian president?
Well, everybody was expecting Russia's reply to essentially an escalatory move of the Western countries in the context of the war in Ukraine. And it's obviously now about who will be in control of the escalation ladder. And in theoretical terms, who actually controls the escalation ladder is in a very strong, in a beneficial position in comparison to the other side. But in practice, what I fear is that very few escalations are safe in a sense that they can get out of control very easily. And given the actors that are engaged in this process on two sides, nuclear actors, I think this is a very worrying development for the international community.
Right. Do you think that the West will see this comment from the Russian president as a serious warning, potentially an escalation?
Well, I sincerely hope that people start taking things that are said in a very serious manner, because if a couple of years ago we were in a situation where the Western capitals were taking seriously the words spoken out of Moscow, maybe this war would have not taken place at all. So I sincerely hope that reason is going to prevail, that the reasons to be worried are going to prevail over all political considerations, domestic or international, and that we're going to see the avoidance of this escalatory set of moves. Because if we don't, then God knows where this can end.
Yeah, certainly hope that is not the case. So you're joining us from the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Talk to us about the general atmosphere at the forum this year. What's it like there?
Well, this is my first time at the forum after 11 years, so it was very interesting for me to compare the forum of 2013 and the forum of today. The forum is exuberating with dynamism and confidence. This really looks like a very, very innovative and dynamic place. Certainly not like a country that is under terrible sanctions that are hurting its economy too badly. So my first impression is that this forum and the way that things function and the conversations that one can have and the exhibitions and discussions in which one can participate show that the sanctions against Russia have failed, that they are not, that they have not done what they were supposed to do by those who imposed them.
Yeah, I want to ask you about recent moves by the United Nations. The General Assembly has recently designated July 11th as Srebrenica Genocide Remembrance Day. As a former president of the UN General Assembly and as a Serb, what's your reaction to that resolution?
It was a very unfortunate decision done by some Western governments in particular to go ahead with this resolution that was essentially setting the stage for instability and escalation in the Balkans. It was very clear from the beginning that this was the intention of the drafters of this resolution, to steer things up in Bosnia, to make things in Bosnia dangerous again, possibly with the idea of accusing the Serbian side for being behind this. And unfortunately, this resolution was passed, but far from being passed in the way that the perpetrators of the resolution had hoped for. Very few countries actually voted for this resolution. Less than 1/2 of world nations voted positively for this resolution. The rest have either voted negatively or abstained from voting. And the main, I would say, consequence of this resolution is that reconciliation between the peoples of the Balkan, between various ethnic and religion groups, is now further than it used to be before. Now, it is more difficult to imagine reconciliation, say, in Bosnia between Serbs and Bosniaks, first and foremost, than it was before. But perhaps this was the actual intention of the drafters of this resolution. So there you go. We got to see what happens in the future.
The Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić called the document a highly politicized resolution. Talk to us about that statement, and can you interpret it for us? Like, why is this issue so politicized?
Well, I can say that he was actually diplomatic when he was calling it that way. I'm sure that one could have used a much harsher language in this context. Well, this resolution was essentially drafted without any knowledge of either Bosnian Serbs, who are a constituent element in Bosnia, or Serbia, for that matter. And its purported aim was to help reconciliation between Serbs in Serbia and Bosniaks in Bosnia. Well, manifestly, this was...
Why only this case? Why only this?
All right, so I think we've lost our connection with Vuk Jeremić, unfortunately. Actually, I believe that Vuk, can you hear me? This is Rachel in Moscow. I think we've gotten you back.
I can actually hear you.
Okay, great.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Great.
But, I don't know if you can see me.
Yeah, we can. If you can finish your thoughts, please, that would be great.
Oh, great. Well, I'm not really sure where you stopped me, but in short, this resolution was meant to steer instability in the Balkans. This resolution was politicized from the moment of conception to the moment through the phase of drafting, all the way until the actual voting. It was misrepresented to the countries of the world as a high moral ground text that would somehow help reconciliation between the Balkan nations. It was actually the intention of the resolution by the drafters of the resolution, primarily countries of the West, was the opposite, was to steer problems in Bosnia, to provoke the Bosnian Serbs into doing certain things that could be used as a pretext or a casus belli for Western action against Bosnian Serbs. Serbia has been so far, and it will continue doing so in the future, being a stabilizing factor in the Balkans. It will continue being a stabilizing factor in the Balkans, despite the intentions of the parts of the international community, mainly Western.
Okay. Going back to the forum, I know you just took part in a panel regarding BRICS potential for energy transition. From your perspective, how effectively has the bloc responded to all the Western sanctions?
Well, speaking about BRICS as a bloc is somewhat aspirational. You know, it's certainly a group of countries that decided to work together on a number of issues, but at this moment there are no structures of the BRICS that could deal with issues like sanctions, as you mentioned. So it was more to do with bilateral relations of BRICS founding members and other members of the BRICS that ended up having the effect of the sanctions not being felt so much. However, in the future, a thing to consider, and this is one of the things that I volunteered in my intervention in the panel, to think about structuring institutions of the BRICS like a secretariat of some sort that could help give more institutionalized answers to some of those questions that you're raising.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Vuk Jeremić, former Serbian foreign minister and president of the UN General Assembly. Thank you, and thanks for bearing with us through some technical difficulties.
Thank you very much. No problem.